Out of all the characters I incorporated into my writing, my favorite was definitely Pierre. My inspiration for Pierre's emotional and indecisive character was myself. Pierre portrays a need to find meaning in life, which causes him to make some wrong turns. His emotions lead him to be simple in some ways and complex in others. He is an example of what each one of us is to ourselves. He is an example of what we all do while we're living, seeking a purpose. I do believe the themes within my book vary and could even be a controversial topic. Some might say the theme to War and Peace would be the irrationality of human motives, seeing that many of my characters act out of selfishness or foolishness. Others might say that the theme is finding meaning in one's life, which I had explained was portrayed by Pierre. The rest may simply say I was just trying to portray leadership within society. Napoleon and the general being both great examples of the chaos and controversy involved with the decisions a leader makes. Most definitely. In my lifetime, I had experienced chaos and war, loss, and even within myself. I joined the army as a junker and fought in the Crimean War through the August of 1855. In the midst of all I had experienced, I still found myself depressed because I didn't feel my life had any meaning, despite the fact that I was fighting for the war. I tried finding spiritual meaning, but every church I had attended I found corrupt. I decided to develop my own beliefs and to live by, and society gave me a hard time about it. I guess my own life was the inspiration for many of the themes in the book. I found this was an adequate and almost unnecessary topic to touch while writing. Andrew and Pierre were living in the time where Napoleon's conquest on Western Europe stirred fear in Russia. In the midst of that fear and being in high ranks of society, Andrew and Pierre were susceptible to getting caught up in the opinions of the upper class. It's as if no one was living on a day-to-day basis, and they definitely didn't have any faith that anything would be resolved. Rather, everyone was anxious, and it's easy to lose one's identity, opinion, and meaning in the midst of trying to control a situation outside of their hands. I understand that it could be a bit confusing that I incorporated any romance at all in the midst of war, but I think romance is the perfect way to explain how we cannot control everything ourselves. In life, a romantic feeling for someone is something that comes to us as a surprise and any burden, only because the people we choose to love is a mystery to us. Take, for example, Natasha's love for Anatole. Although she knew that Anatole was irresponsible and unpredictable, she still found herself with a with desire to elope with him without even thinking that maybe Anatole's ways could make her miserable. It is an unreasonable romantic impulse. Okay. I'm glad you asked this question because I try to make this subject somewhat simultaneous. Although there is war going on in the overall scheme of things, I try to incorporate an idea of epiphany with the idea of fatality. It's known that in the most dangerous and difficult situations are where we learn the most about ourselves and the world around us. An example of this idea is Pierre's perspective on the deaths of Russian prisoners of the war in the French army camp when they were executed. The deaths of these people that he shared imprisonment with made him question whether war was a logical idea and allowed him to realize that war is an absurd act of insanity. I think there are numerous reasons why I chose to express Napoleon's conquest in Western Europe within War and Peace. Not only did I find it to be a memorable point in history for Russia, but I realized that it was a time period in which everyone was affected. The first thing I start my volume off with is the talk of war against Napoleon in the Society Hostesses Party. There were many perspectives to view this historical event. Many Russians who wanted to go against Napoleon, and then Pierre who viewed Napoleon as a great man. There were just so many ways to manipulate this historical event into a life lesson. I admit that the title of my novel is ironic, but life itself is ironic. Although War and Peace do not normally relate in a twisted way, they do. War has a way of making us question aspects in our life that have never made to appear irrelevant. Then you begin to question these aspects of life you subconsciously ignored. As you continue to seek for many answers, you slowly find peace within yourself, even in those moments where there's no answer. War has a way of allowing us to make better decisions, make changes, and appreciate what is around us. There are various reasons. In this time, money and social status consumed society. It was almost necessary to be so shallow if you wanted to fit in. Nicholas Rostov is an example of the irrationality of the human mindset. He wanted to keep his word to Sonia and marry her, but because of all his gambling debts, he decides to wed Mary, the rich heiress, to relieve himself of debt. Okay. I could say it has to do with the situations within the book. From first-hand experience, I could say that war is a matter of adrenaline and anxiety. Moments like those are the moments full of hardships, and hardships cause us to make rapid decisions. That's the reason why so many of my characters act out in greed, necessity, emotion, and hurry. The peaceful moments never last long either, so it eludes a sense of reality. I'm glad that I was able to portray this realistic character of life into my book. I admit that the title of my novel is ironic, but life. Oh, damn.
Where were you? Because I thought you were in.
An example of this idea is Pierre's perspective on the deaths of the prisoners in the French army camp and when they were executed. The deaths of these people that he shared imprisonment with made him question whether war was a logical idea and a lot.
No! It's all your.
This is Ilse.
Are you recording?
I grew hair.
Yeah.
Mal agradecido, no se lo comió, ¿viste?
¿Viste?
Hay gente en otros países que no tienen de comer y ella no se...
Okay.
Are we finally done? We're finally done, right? We're done?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. I know. There's
I'm
something
eating the garbage! Mexican cover by Crystal and Ready for this?
Okay. Ay, 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 ay. Canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegra el cielito lindo, los corazones. Okay.
You have two heads.
Your chin hurts.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty big.
It's like
Shut
like
up.
Peter Griffin. JK. Ready?
There we go. Bam.
Jesus. Oh. OMG. What do she have out?
Girl, she ratchet.
That lace front is out, bro.
It's out, bro.
Cause she ratchet.
Cause she ratchet.
Ooh, I don't know if I should have eyes. I can't say that. Ooh, she too fat.
You know what I can't stand? When she got that coochie jacket on.
I wear coochie.